Have you ever wondered why some men seem to crumble under pressure while others rise above it? Why do certain individuals fall into despair, blaming the world for their misfortunes, while others, even in the harshest circumstances, carve out success? The answer isn't luck, intelligence, or talent. It's inner strength. And according to Stoicism, weak men fail because they surrender to their emotions, avoid responsibility, and lack discipline. If you want to understand why so many men fall short in life and how to avoid becoming one of them, stay with me till the end. Before we continue, don't forget to like and subscribe to help our journey. It keeps us motivated to bring you powerful Stoic insights that can transform your life. Now let's dive in. Number 1, weak men are ruled by their emotions. One of the greatest weaknesses a man can have is being controlled by his emotions. Stoicism teaches that emotions like fear, anger, and despair are natural, but allowing them to dictate your actions leads to failure. Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor and Stoic philosopher, wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." Weak men fail because they let external events dictate their emotions and reactions. Consider a man who loses his job. A weak man might sink into self-pity, blame the economy, or even lash out at others. A strong man, on the other hand, sees it as an opportunity to adapt, grow, and rebuild. He understands that setbacks are part of life, and that his reaction determines his future. Another example is relationships. A weak man, when rejected, might beg for another chance, become bitter, or spiral into depression. A strong man understands that rejection is not a reflection of his worth, but a lesson in self-improvement. He moves forward, focusing on becoming a better version of himself. In every challenge, emotions will try to control you. The difference between weak and strong men is who is in control, the man or his emotions. Number 2, weak men avoid responsibility. The Stoics believe that self-responsibility is the foundation of strength. Weak men fail because they refuse to take ownership of their actions, blaming circumstances, society, or others for their failures. Epictetus, a former slave who became one of the greatest Stoic philosophers, taught that freedom comes from accepting responsibility for your own life. Take two men with the same background, poverty, lack of opportunities, and no support system. One man spends his life complaining, waiting for someone to rescue him. The other seizes control, works tirelessly, and builds his future. What's the difference? One took responsibility, the other ran from it. Avoiding responsibility can be seen in everyday life. Some men blame genetics for their poor health while refusing to eat better or exercise. Others blame their lack of success on bad luck, instead of improving their skills and making strategic moves. A weak man finds excuses. A strong man finds solutions. No one will hand you the life you want. It's your duty to take control. The moment you stop making excuses is the moment you stop being weak. Number 3, weak men lack discipline. Discipline is the master key to success, and weak men fail because they lack it. Stoicism teaches that discipline is more powerful than motivation. Seneca, one of the most famous Stoic philosophers, said, "Most powerful is he who has himself in his own power." This means that a man who controls his habits, thoughts, and actions is truly powerful. Look at the men who achieve greatness. Athletes, CEOs, warriors, and thinkers. They all share one trait: relentless discipline. They wake up early, train their minds and bodies, and stay focused despite temptations. Meanwhile, weak men give in to laziness, procrastination, and distractions. They prefer comfort over growth. A simple example: a weak man wakes up late, spends hours scrolling social media, and complains that he never has time for success. A strong man wakes up early, trains his mind, sharpens his skills, and earns his success through consistent effort. Discipline separates winners from losers. If you want to escape weakness, master discipline in your habits, thoughts, and daily actions. Number 4, weak men fear hardship. Stoicism teaches that adversity is the training ground for greatness. Marcus Aurelius embraced hardship, believing that struggle is necessary for growth. Weak men fail because they avoid difficulty, seeking comfort over challenge. Imagine a soldier who never trains for battle. When war comes, he is unprepared, weak, and useless. Life works the same way. If you avoid hardship, you remain fragile, untested, and vulnerable. A strong man embraces struggle, knowing that every challenge makes him tougher, smarter, and stronger. Look at successful men in history. They all endured hardships. Theodore Roosevelt battled childhood illness by building an unbreakable body. Nelson Mandela spent 27 years in prison, emerging stronger than ever. Greatness is built in the fire of adversity. A weak man runs from struggle. A strong man faces it head-on, knowing it is the price of strength. Number 5, weak men live without purpose. A man without purpose is a man without direction. Weak men fail because they wander through life with no clear vision, drifting from job to job, relationship to relationship, wasting time and potential. Stoicism teaches that a man's purpose gives him strength and direction. Epictetus said, "First say to yourself what you would be, and then do what you have to do." In other words, decide who you want to be and take action. A strong man wakes up with clarity, focus, and determination. A weak man wakes up lost, confused, and purposeless. Think of men who built empires: Alexander the Great, Leonardo da Vinci, Marcus Aurelius. They had a mission, a goal, a reason to push forward. Without purpose, a man becomes lazy, weak, and easily manipulated. Find your mission, whether it's mastering a skill, building a legacy, or leading your family. A man with purpose is unstoppable. Number 6, weak men crave approval. A weak man's biggest prison is his obsession with what others think. Stoicism teaches that a man who seeks approval will always be a slave to others. Marcus Aurelius warned against this when he said, "It never ceases to amaze me. We all love ourselves more than other people, but care more about their opinions than our own." Weak men constantly seek validation from friends, social media, women, even strangers. They shape their lives around others' expectations, afraid to stand alone. But here's the truth. Great men don't ask for permission. They act. Look at history. Socrates was sentenced to death for challenging society's beliefs, but he never wavered. Elon Musk was mocked for launching SpaceX, but he didn't stop. Strong men do what's right, even if the world laughs at them. Weak men, they conform, afraid of standing out, afraid of rejection, afraid of being different. If you want to be strong, stop chasing approval. Live by your own values. Number 7, weak men chase pleasure instead of mastery. Weak men are addicted to comfort and instant gratification. They scroll endlessly through social media, binge watch shows, waste hours on video games, or numb themselves with alcohol and junk food. But what they don't realize is pleasure without purpose leads to weakness. The Stoics understood this deeply. Seneca warned, "We suffer more from imagination than from reality." Meaning, the mindless pursuit of pleasure creates anxiety, emptiness, and regret. A weak man distracts himself to avoid facing reality. A strong man, he masters himself. Think about the difference between an average man and a world-class performer. The average man spends hours watching other people's success. The strong man spends those hours creating his own success. He reads, trains, builds skills, and dominates his field. The harsh truth? Weak men live for short-term pleasure. Strong men live for long-term mastery. Number 8, weak men fear taking risks. Weak men want guarantees. They wait for perfect conditions, avoiding risk, afraid of failing. But Stoicism teaches that growth comes through action, not hesitation. Epictetus put it best. If you want to improve, be content to be thought foolish and stupid. History proves this over and over. Every great man took massive risks. Julius Caesar crossed the Rubicon, knowing it meant war, but also knowing he had to bet on himself. Steve Jobs dropped out of college, risking everything to build Apple. These men didn't wait for the right time. They made it the right time. Weak men waste years overthinking, waiting for certainty. They fear rejection, failure, embarrassment. And in the end, they accomplish nothing. Strong men act, fail fast, and learn faster. If you want strength, take risks. Stop waiting. Start moving. Number 9. Weak men refuse to control their desires. A weak man is a slave to his urges. He eats whatever he craves, sleeps whenever he's tired, and chases every impulse, whether it's food, money, or women. But Stoicism teaches that the highest power is self-control. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." Think about it. Who is more powerful? The man who controls his cravings, or the man controlled by his cravings? Most men today are weak because they can't say no. They overeat, overspend, overconsume. They chase short-term pleasures at the cost of long-term strength. Meanwhile, the strongest men, the great warriors, the great leaders, the great thinkers, mastered self-control. A disciplined man commands respect. A weak man loses it. Number 10. Weak men blame others for their failures. Nothing keeps a man weak more than a victim mindset. Weak men always have excuses. They blame their parents, their boss, the government, society, anyone but themselves. But Stoicism rejects this completely. Epictetus said, "It is not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." Life is unfair. That's reality. Some men are born rich, others poor. Some get opportunities, others don't. But the difference between weak and strong men own their failures. Look at two men who fail a business. The weak man blames the market, investors, or bad luck. The strong man analyzes his mistakes, adapts, and tries again. The same applies to relationships, careers, and fitness. Weak men play the victim. Strong men take responsibility and build their own destiny. If you want to succeed, stop blaming others. Take control. Own your failures. Then use them to fuel your success. Weak men fail because they chase approval, live for pleasure, fear risk, lack self-control, and blame others. But the truth is, weakness is a choice. You're not born strong. You become strong through discipline, self-mastery, and taking action. Every day, you have two options: stay weak or become stronger. The choice is yours. If this video helped you, make sure to like and subscribe to help our journey. Share this with someone who needs to hear it. And remember, the world doesn't wait for weak men. It rewards those who rise above.